Welcome to my daily review. You're looking at a daily chart of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the 30 stocks that are hand selected. They're probably going to change pretty soon too. I can't see, Walgreens being in there ahead of Amazon, and Google probably deserves to be in there as well. But anyway, I digress. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 242 points today, or 0.64%. The average was 2% above, the 50-day average daily volume. But you can see it's flirting here with the 38,000 level. Today it closed above it at 38,049. You see it's like a teeter-totter. It goes above it. It was 38,109 on Monday. Then it trades below it, kind of flirts with it on Wednesday. Today it gets above it and actually closes above it. So it closed near its high. That's near the high of the daily range. So a good close on the Dow Jones Industrial Average. The other index, which is flirting, I like it when they flirt, flirting with new highs, and that's the S&P 500 just had an inside day today. You can see that it was up 25 points, 0.53%. So a nice 0.5% gain. Closed at 48.94, which is the highest close ever. You can see that's a nice hammer candle, close near the highs. So, and also on 2% above average daily volume. So good day for the S&P and the Dow. The Nasdaq, not anywhere near a new high. It's about 6% off the old high, but they still made this nice move from 12,543 up to 15,510 where it closed today. It was up 28 points, 0.18%. Little lighter volume. Might be getting a little tired here. I don't know. Maybe we'll just have a rotation, but you can see the volume bars ticking down today. It was up, but still below the average daily volume. And the Russell 2000 index bounced off that 10, which I talked about yesterday, just had an inside day today, up nearly 0.75%. So it closed at 1975. That thing's got a lot of work to do. I think it will get there. I think they'll have a good year in the small caps. It's just going to take some time. This first month has been kind of rough here for the Russell. Since I'm on the monthly, let's take a look at the Dow for this month. It's had a good month. It's up nearly 1%. I just wanted to point out on the Dow, though, this move here from 32,327 up to where it closed today is like almost an 18% move in a pretty short period of time. You're looking at 3 months. So that's a big move in a short period of time. What is the Nasdaq up this month? It's up 3.3%. So it rallied the last 3 weeks because it did start off the year on a lower note. And since I'm doing this little tawdry exercise, the S&P is up 2.61%. So the Nasdaq is the leader in 2024, but it's well below its highs, and you can see this on the S&P just poking above, an old high. That looks beautiful for a technician. Anyway, let's move on. Apple. Let me see. Apple overtook Microsoft as the largest market cap. Big deal, right? But it's still setting up in this base here, just consolidating, pull back to the 200. They have earnings next week, and then we'll know after at the earnings report which way this one's going to go. I certainly hope it doesn't go the way of Tesla, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. Microsoft broke out of this base. We talked about how I thought it was going to have trouble with that 400 level. It still might. It's only 1% above 400, but you can see it ran up here, 398. 400 got rejected, 399, and then blasted through it yesterday, and I followed through today with a nice $2 gain. So Microsoft looks good. Meta Platforms, another stock that's just grinding higher. These large cap technology stocks, for the most part, are just kind of grinding higher. volume's nothing to write home about. They have earnings same day as Apple next week. Is that correct? Can all these stocks report in the same day? This is Amazon, the first. I have to look into that. Anyway, Amazon, nice, just grinding higher, up 0.5%, bounced off the 10, found support. That's a nice bounce there. Yeah, found support at the 10. That's what you want to see. Google, I know Google made an all-time high today as well, right? Yeah. All-time high or just 52-week high? Yeah, all-time high today, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So good for Google. This is one that I've been on our ready list. I like it a lot, and now it's pushing away from its base. But yeah, I wouldn't be buying it up here. But you could see that the trend lines are just grinding higher. That's a beautiful trend for a trend trader. So good for the longs and Google. Let me see. I did Google, Meta, Amazon. Okay, I've got to get to the bad news here. This is Tesla. I've been warning about this stock for a while. This is why, when they slice through 50, you got to get rid of them. It did rally back through. It took forever and a day for it to rally back through its moving averages, back up to 265, but then sliced it again. And it's below all of its moving averages. The short-term moving averages are just like straight down. The RS line is straight down. This is just an avoid. That's all. I don't feel sorry for the Tesla longs. They made big money on Tesla over the years. It's just a really competitive business. And, if you look at the automakers over history, it's just really a tough business. GM did well for a long time, Ford, but it's going to be tough for Tesla. That's all I'll say. Okay. Anyway, let's get to NVIDIA and some of the semiconductors, because this is where the strength is. If you want to get long and trade stocks, semiconductors and softwares are where it's at for the most part. This is NVIDIA just grinding higher, like, the rest of the mega cap, Mag 7. That's not Tesla. I guess it's the Mag 6 now. I don't know what you want to call it, the Super 6. Anyway, NVIDIA is just trending higher. You can see it broke through on this one day. This is a Monday morning. I remember broke through that 500, 505, 504 buy point. So we were able to capture that at that time, and it ran up 20% to 600. Thought I was going to have a problem here like Microsoft, 599, 595, but it went up to 600 on, what is this, Monday, and then yesterday blasted through and carried through today a couple of bucks down after hours. Intel spit the bit. I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, AMD, another one that's just rocking higher. You could see the big volume coming in on this one. They downgraded it on Monday and got the desired results. If I go to you could just see the volume in this thing. Just massive volume. Folks want to buy this stock. I'll go to a 10-minute chart here because it shows on Monday the downgrade. Had a big move last week from 157, closed Friday near the highs at 174.25. They came in Monday and downgraded it, knocked it down to like 165, traded flat on Tuesday, gapped higher yesterday. So this thing went from 165 on Monday up to 180, essentially 185 today, 184.90. So that's a nice $20 move in a short period of time. So maybe it'll give some back tomorrow. Typically when Intel reports, they're having market share taken by AMD, and then AMD reports a couple days later and gives you the good news. So it's a bad news, good news story. So anyway, AMD reports Tuesday. We'll hear from Lisa Su. Oh wow, Broadcom pulled back today. I just closed near the lows. I wasn't really following this today, but look at that closed daily range. That's an inverted hammer candle. We'll see what happens. I don't like the looks of the after hours action for semiconductors. Maybe we'll get a rotation. We need a rotation soon. Long-term bull markets have healthy rotations. That's how they survive and thrive, from rotating from sector to sector. So anyway, that's enough of Broadcom. Still, I like it. This is an ascending base. I should have a power move at least 20%, I would think, from that breakout, but we'll see. We'll take it one day at a time. Lam Research, they reported last night. Nice move today, except for it closed near the lows. you know, the market was really rallying nicely today, and then it just kind of pulled back, but still it's up 2% with volume. So that's a good move for Lam Research. ASML Holdings, this one, yeah, this is up higher as well, then it pulled back, closed 30% of its daily range. Not bad. 2.5% move. These are the equipment makers, man. They had really strong days. KLAC had a good day. They reported after hours, and yeah, not too good after hours. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Qualcomm, another one of these. This is a fabulous stock, like AMD and Rambus and NVDA and Marvell. But yeah, it was just flat today. Made a new high. That's why I wrote that down. Made a new high and pulled back. Anyway, man, there's a lot of semiconductors. I'm gonna throw it in here with these semiconductors. It's a hardware name. That's a super micro. Just had a quiet inside day today. And if you're long, you kind of like that action here. We're not gonna blast higher every day. You can see the big daily volume bars, and today kind of quieted down, even though the volume was pretty heavy. SMCI reports on Monday after the close, so we'll hear from them. Anyway, I mentioned software as an area. Might get some rotation here. ServiceNow had a great report, had big volume. It was up a lot and then pulled back. Made a new high, then pulled back. It's kind of the story. And it makes sense too, because that we're still, in the early process of earnings reports. And so investors, they celebrate in the morning, these great earnings reports, and they get cautious as, new data points are coming in, and we're going to have a ton of them next week. So don't get too excited. IBM with a nice report. I'm going to call out a power earnings gap, even though it wasn't 10%. It was, 9.5 with 600% above average daily volume. It certainly was well above 10%, but pulled back with the market. That's a heck of a move for IBM. Congrats to the longs there. That's a great move. ANET, it's a computer networking company, not really a software, but I'm going to throw it in here. Yeah, this one's really strong, just trending in the right direction, lower left to upper right. So ANET looks good. Base, couch base, not one that I really follow. I'm not sure why I wrote this down. Oh, I like this little pattern here. Yeah, not bad. Plus, I think I made a new high today. So this little base here, not bad. Look for it to maybe pull back a little bit for a few days, and maybe we'll have something there. They don't report till March 6th. You really have to pay attention to when your stocks report earnings, as they have a big impact. This is a Giga Cloud Technology, just bounced off the 10 today. We had it on our watch list a few weeks ago, and then it ran, it just got away. And then this is why I say if you chase things, you get burned. Don't chase the shiny objects. And all it really did was just pull back to its 21 here, and then bounced. And then today, on the pullback to the 10, it bounced nicely, 7% move. We'll take that every time. Accenture is a large cap, 250 billion market cap stock, making new highs, trending higher, and looking great. So Accenture, Adobe is one that I've had on my ready list, and I had an early entry of around 610 or 612 or something. Had a nice day today, 2.65%. We'll take that move every time. It's still setting up in a base, and it's getting a little bit away from its moving averages there. Yeah, 4% above its 21. So maybe wait for it to pull back in a little bit. Maybe we'll get that tomorrow. Some caution on a Friday. It makes sense to me. Spotify. This is one that we had on our ready list. It just consolidated in this, base. And that's what you want to see. It's kind of like rotation that I talked about earlier. Made this big move, then money rotates out, forms a little flat base, and then money comes back in, takes it to new highs. So Spotify looks good. We like to see rotation. Speaking of which, some of these commercial leasing and I don't know, you call them industrial stocks, got some love today. United Rentals was one of them after its earnings report. This was definitely a power earnings gap here, up nearly 13%, nearly 300% above average daily volume, $74 move. Thank you very much. We'll take it. Caterpillar made a new high today. That's always scary. Caterpillar. So, with the GDP news, and it's pretty obvious the economy's strong, consumers are buying, unemployment's healthy, the economy looks good. And so Caterpillar's probably going to do pretty well. Business is good. So it was up 3.5%, made a new high today for Caterpillar. Grainger is another one, GWW, machinery and tools stock. And this was up $10 or more than 1%, made a new high. Grainger looks fantastic. After this breakout here, pull back to the 51 time. We know that's a gift on most times. And it was in this occasion. So Grainger looks good. Anyway, let's move on to some other stocks that I normally don't talk about. These are the leisure stocks. We American citizens, just people around the world, we like our leisure, right? And certainly we like to travel and dine and lounge around and watch Netflix and get DoorDash delivered. And anyway, Hilton, I guess people are staying at hotels instead of Airbnb these days. Hilton made a new high today. Very nice move, with a decent volume, above average volume. So congrats to the longs there. Marriott, this thing is going parabolic here on us after this breakout. Man, on December 11th, it was at 211 and now it's 242. That's a nice move for that stock. I mentioned Netflix earlier. It had the breakout yesterday, and the high was 562.50. It breached that area today, 563.46. But to me, that would be an area of interest there. 562.50 tomorrow. Maybe it'll open red and then go to green. We'll have to wait and see tomorrow morning. We got some inflation data coming in, and anyway, we'll see what the market brings for us tomorrow. Uber is part of these leisure, right? We got to get around. We got to use our Ubers. And anyway, this is your breakout here. And the ripped higher, pull back to near the 51 time, and then just blasted higher today. Found support at the 10 and was up 3.5%. So a good day for Uber. I did mention DoorDash. I don't use DoorDash, but yeah, okay. Made a new high. Pretty flat on the day, but it did make a new high and pull back. So anyway, enough of that noise. Some of the retail, I'm not going to do drugs today. We're not doing any drugs. Say no to drugs. We're going to do a couple of retail. TJX, the retail shoes group, I think I made a new high, 95.91. No, 95.92 is the high. Anyway, very nice tight trading in here. I don't know if I put this down for a 3 weeks tight. Yeah, it looks like it could be a 3 weeks tight if it closes around here tomorrow. Anyway, ROST Stores, I believe ROST Stores made a new high. Yes, it did. Kind of, broke out of this base here and it's just been trending higher. You got to like that as a trend trader. Deckers pulled back yesterday and yeah, it didn't even come back to its 10 and then ramped $10 today. Deckers reports, wow, the first. We're going to hear a lot of companies here next, Thursday? Okay, moving on. I got to do this. I don't want to, but I gotta. The energy stocks, they're making some noise here. After a long period of consolidation, this one traded at new highs. This is Energy Transfer, the oil and gas transportation pipeline stock. They pay a massive dividend. This is Sting, Scorpio Tankers, made a new high, then pulled back today a little bit, just slightly. TK, oil and gas pipeline. These stocks are showing well. Just calling it as I see it. Also, the truckers, WAB, I mean, anything with trucking equipment, PCAR, PCAR, truck part, broke out of this consolidation, making new highs. That looks good as well. OSK, this is Oshkosh, more trucks, delivery parts, yeah, making new highs. So, can't be all bad when all these different types of stocks. There's financials. There's so many that are doing well that I just can't, I can't get to them all. So I'm going to stop there. Thank you for watching. Except for I lied. I'm not going to end there. I'm going to add one more thing in honor of the great Steve Jobs. We're going to go to Intel. I did not get the full report here. I'm going to have to look into this. It's had a big run, okay, from 32 to 51. it's a massive move for Intel. Then it pulled back to the 21 and then ramped back up to 50 today. But after hours, I know they beat, but they guided lower, pretty significant guide lower. So I'm gonna have to dig into that, figure out why they're guiding lower and what areas and what they're talking about. Anyway, that will affect this is a Dow Jones Industrial Average stock, so it's going to affect the semiconductors and that index tomorrow. Visa is another one, and the Dow Jones component. They said the consumer's strong, and yeah, their sales are good, but it's just just like DR Horton, right? I mean, you reported all-time highs and just a little bit of fuzz on a report, you get knocked down 3%. So it's not going to be the end of the world. Probably come back down to maybe the 21 or something here at 264. I don't know. We just have to wait and see. But those two reports were, they weren't horrible. The Intel guidance was weak. I'm going to look more into Visa, and then Western Digital reporting it's down 4%, and they reported it better than expected. But like I say, when these things are up at all-time highs and they're reporting, buy the rumor, sell the news is pretty normal here. So not going to get too excited about it. We'll check it out tomorrow morning. Well, like I said, we have some inflation data, and tomorrow will be another day. We'll tell a news story. And at mcstockcharts.com, we never give up.